Recording. Okay, so we're gonna come in 3, 2, 1. Hi, Stephanie, and welcome to As I Was Saying podcast. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's everything, regarding this pandemic that we're in, especially with the work that you're doing? I noticed that there's a lot of conversation, a lot of maybe situations that people think really were impacting them. So, what does that look like with you and your community?
Right now, I would say there is less of a kind of hysteria. Like everyone's wearing their mask and following the rules, I would say. And everyone's kind of enjoying this nice day outside right now. But definitely with social distancing. And with regards to like feminine products, there definitely is a need for that right now. And with what I'm doing, we're definitely helping a lot of women who don't have access to that during this time. So it's definitely something new that I've never, experienced pandemic before, but we're hanging on and staying hopeful.
I first of all, I really love that, and I think that's so interesting that 2020, it's like we're having a great day, social distancing, and it's like I never thought I would be saying this in any point in like the 25 years I've been alive, but it's like this is now like a normality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now like I look at people's masks and I'm like, oh, I like that print, and I'm like, is this a thing? But Stephanie, I've actually been following, I think I've been following your platform for what has it been, definitely like a year or a few months or
Yeah, a
so.
few months, I would say. Yeah, we met at a Live Girl event, and then you started following me, and I was like, okay.
Right. So we've definitely been like I've been seeing your work and everything that you're doing. So if you would not mind, I definitely want our listeners to know what you're doing and know the platform that you started, because they're probably like, oh my gosh, like what did she start? So if you can take the stage at this point and really tell everybody what you're doing, what your work is, and why it's important.
Okay, so I recently started this project, I would say, and it's just called Help End Period Poverty. And I started it in 2019 with my sister. She's a year younger than me. And we just kind of saw like a random YouTube video on how it's titled How Homeless Women Cope with Their Periods. And I never really thought about it until I watched the video. And I was like, wow, like homeless women don't just need food and shelter. They need other products that they're not getting access to. And it just hit me. Like I was like, oh my God, I want to do something about it. So we came together, and thank God we were just a part of Live Girl. They did so much for us. They kind of helped us start our project and get it going. And with that, we were able to do fundraisers and drives at my school. And I go to an all-girls school. So bringing this project to there definitely opened the eyes of many people. Sorry, there's some motorcycles outside. And okay, sorry. So bringing it to my school definitely raised more awareness of this issue in the beginning, because I definitely feel like I never really thought about it. So I feel like people were in the same boat as me. So starting this project just started something, and I'm very like proud of myself for doing it. So I've never really been the person to take charge of things and be like a leader, but Live Girl definitely helped me embrace that within me and express it to others. So what we've been doing with the fundraisers and drives is buying feminine products, and so far I would say we raised around $2,000 worth of feminine products, and we would donate.
Oh, I think you cut out. Hello? Hello? Stephanie? Hold on. Stephanie? Hello?
Oh yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I
Hi.
think you cut out there. It is okay. I know how to edit
Is
audio.
everything okay? Like,
Huh?
okay. I'm just gonna switch my Wi-Fi real quick to a
Oh,
different one.
okay, yeah.
Um, oh, Yeah, it's saying my connection's unstable. Maybe I should just leave it about that.
No, it's okay. And like I said, I'll definitely like edit out like those like because it was like I think you were talking about Go Live Girl and that's when it cut out. So
Oh,
you
okay.
can take a pause and I whatever thought like you were thinking of or like I guess you were talking about how like Go Live Girl helped you through that process. So you can like it's okay like just
Okay.
take a pause
Yeah.
and then just go from there. Okay.
Okay. I got it. So Live Grow really helped my sister and I just take this project to the next level and spread the word. And then that's when we created like an Instagram page, and it's called just help.and.period.poverty, and then a website as well, and that's just called help and period poverty project.org. And with their like help and like their mentorship, you're able to bring that project to our school and start fundraisers and drives. And at the moment we did two major drives, and that kind of like the first drive raised $950 and the second one raised $650. And with that, I got my school, since we go to an all-girls school and we have to wear uniforms, we have a day where we kind of just wear whatever clothes we want to wear, called a dress down day, and they bring in $5, and all that money just went to buying feminine products. And from the first drive, we bought 68 boxes of tampons and pads, and we kind of brought that to our school and had the girls package them into like little bags just to bring the community together and work on this project and just educate them more on what they're doing and how what they're doing is helping others, and not just, it's not just a donation. It's really impactful. And the second drive, we recently just used the money to buy products, and we bought 36 boxes, and we didn't get the chance to package them because of the pandemic. So we just donated the boxes straight to an organization in Darien called Person to Person. And they were very thankful for the donation because right now they are having women come in like need of feminine products, but they don't really have enough. So with our donation, they definitely can help a lot of women. And also, we did another drive at a volleyball game that I had since I was on the team in the fall. And we had a game against our rival school, and we just kind of brought both teams together to play for period poverty, and we collected around 30 boxes of products. And with that, I still have the boxes, and I plan on packaging them to make it more, to keep the tradition, I would say, of like packaging the products, and definitely doing a donation soon. I'm kind of happy that we're able to donate to people who really need it, especially during this time. Not that I'm happy about the pandemic, but just giving it to more people and giving them the opportunity
More,
to get
yeah,
what they need.
more folks in need. I like that. I'm not happy about the pandemic, but I do like the chance to give back. And I really enjoy how you utilize your high school and the organizations you're already a part with to partner and really support you in this. And I actually did not know that it just came from you watching a video and was like, hey, like this is a problem, which definitely is a testament to you and seeing a problem and really saying, well, okay, how can I solve this problem in my daily life? And even packaging the products, that's amazing because I do think having that touch of, hope and that touch
Yeah,
of like,
for
hey,
sure.
someone cares about you means a lot. So I think that's really awesome that you want to make sure these products are being packaged and not just kind of like, okay, hey, take them. So
Yeah, thank
with
you.
that, and when I stumbled upon your page, I don't know what made me do it one day. I think I tagged you actually in, and I went to the store and I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy my stuff, like my food, all the things I need for life forward. When you get a little, this is the trick, when you get a little older, things get more expensive and you don't really know why. Like it just happened one day.
Yeah.
My parents, like, when you turn 23, just all goes down, and I'm gonna be 25 and I'm like, these bills. But
Yeah.
anyway, I was like, I'm gonna go to the store, and I decided to buy products separately. So I literally bought, food and, different toiletries, and I think I needed body wash. And then I bought my menstrual products separately. And I went on social media and I was like, okay, I got like 20 items over here as far as food and like hair care products and just random stuff. And I think altogether that was like $43. And I'm sure I still remember because it just made me like, wow, $43 for like 20 items of food and everything. I got 6 different items of products, and that was, you know, like $50. And I really sat there and was like, wait a minute, like this is a serious thing. And so the question I wanted to ask you, and for anyone who's listening and you know, you don't know why this is a problem, only 17 states do not tax menstrual products, and it's considered a luxury item in every other state. So why in 2020 do you think, you know, folks still see these products as a luxury as opposed to a necessity?
So I definitely think that the way they're marketed, like feminine products or menstrual products are marketed, is that they're colorful, they're pink, or purple, like kind of just appealing to like female or like feminine attributes, I would say. And with those extra colors, it kind of just makes the price go higher. And I'm like, why is that the issue? Why are they doing that? And then like men's products are just black, blue, plain gray, and they're like cheaper. And I'm like, that's so unfair, and that shouldn't be something we have to deal with, especially in 2020. But I would, back to your story, like I definitely went to CVS and bought myself like just feminine products, and I was like, wow, why is it $30 for, I would not, like 4 boxes of stuff? Why? That could buy like nice dinner.
Right,
So,
like
yeah.
2 people dinner, like nice, like nice people dinner.
Exactly. So I told my sister, I'm like, this is ridiculous. But, and like, it's so sad that we're going through it. But imagine people don't have money.
Mm-hmm.
They have to sacrifice their food to buy menstrual products. And why are they going through that? It should be like a right to be able to buy their own products or just receive products that are not cheap, because that could be kind of, that can pose like health risks as well. And also get food, because that's the right to have food and shelter. But it's so sad how people don't have that. And but anyways, back to the pricing on things. So definitely, like I like was looking online, and like there are companies that do like market their products and then they up the price and all that. But it, in general, products that are like more colorful, they have like, or like special edition, they have higher prices. And it's not even really a tax. Like I know the pink tax is kind of the whole thing where like feminine products are just like feminine products, not menstrual products, just like in general, are just taxed and it's higher because of how they look like, and they're just marketed as, oh, it's a special edition that you should buy this like now. And even though the price is a little higher, people would still buy it because it's just more appealing. Like even when I was growing up, like I would buy products that are just, you know, colorful, sparkly, whatever. Doesn't matter the price. But now as I'm older, I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, do I really need this product where I can buy the same one, different color, whatever, just cheaper? But also the pink tax isn't really like a tax, a physical tax. It's just like a kind of
It's like the ideology.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's an
exactly.
ideology of spending. And for anyone listening, I definitely encourage you. And at the end of this, you're going to give out like your social and your website, because obviously before I interview you or I interview anyone that's doing amazing work, I'm like, well, let me learn more about this. And I went on your website. So shout out to having all of the information, because I was like,
thank you.
really? Only 17 states? That okay, noted. And yeah, the pink tax is really like an ideology. Like you said, it's not like when you go to the store and it's like, hey, you know, these are pink, here's an extra 3 cents, because, you know, as crazy as I think some of like legislation is, I don't think, you know, they're open enough to do that openly. But there definitely is a difference between like, you know, my razors and my brother's razors, and they're the same razors. They're everything is made in the same processing facility. But for some reason, like you said, I think it's like an estimated almost $500 that women spend in feminine products, like you said, as a whole, or, you know, any type of hygiene products, menstrual products as a whole, as opposed to, you know, quote unquote male products, just because it's like you said, they're pink, they're purple, and it really is geared toward women for no reason, like pen for women. And it's like, what does that even mean? It's a pen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like also like male, I would say like condoms or Viagra, like that's covered and that's not as expensive as, you know, feminine products that we need. Like we need this. They don't need that. That's optional. But it's just ridiculous. Like I just think it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And I'd also like to take a pause, because I definitely feel, which is awesome, because us using a lot of like these phrasings like the pink tax, you know, hygiene products, menstrual products, feminine products. So if you want to go and like research what a lot of these things mean as you listen to this episode, I encourage that. I'd also like to state that when we use terms during this episode like female or male products or like, we are not talking about your personal sexuality, but more so like, you know, in today's time, there is a pink tax for the quote unquote female feminine product. So it's not our personal what that is. That is just like, hey, like for whatever reason, the government thinks like if it's pink and you're a quote unquote woman, you're going to buy this. So I just wanted anyone, you know, to kind of understand why there might be a lot of terminology bouncing back and forth. You know, if you want to look more into that, I would encourage it. And so going with that, because now the question becomes, and like I said, I have, I think had my cycle since I was, I want to say like 11 or 12 years old. And when it comes to also changing like legislation and changing, you know, all of these things to make more funding for, you know, menstrual products, or to have more funding for helping women who are homeless and women who are incarcerated, because that's what we need. I also think sometimes there is a social narrative that needs to shift. So do you feel like because there is a lack of empathy when it comes to dealing with folks with menstrual cycles as a whole, you know, when it comes to like if you're cramping, if you're bloating, if you feel like you need to leave work, do you think that's also a component on why this issue sometimes doesn't get enough attention? Like, do you think people do not respect the fact that this bodily function, you know, although it's supposed to be natural, is very hard? Like some people can't even leave their house, you know, and this is like us talking about in America. In certain countries, like you genuinely can't even leave your house.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
yet people just brush it off like, oh, you know, well, why is it important? Just get over it. It's natural. So do you think there's a lack of empathy and that also adds to this issue?
I definitely think there is, but especially during like 2020, I feel it's getting a little better. And even with issues that aren't related to menstrual cycles, like for example, breastfeeding, like people are getting better with that in the work offices, and like they're just providing spaces for women to do that on their own time. But with menstrual cycles, um, there definitely is a lack of understanding, especially on like the male perspective. Like they don't really understand what we're going through, and they just, because we're not physically like, it's really internal, I would say, like feelings and cramps, pain, all that. So it's not like external, so they can't really see what we're going through. So therefore, like I feel like they don't really understand. But what I'm doing is just like with this project, I'm just educating people on that, and especially on like homeless people. Like they just, this is a hard question, but I would say it's just very like hard to understand something you can't physically see overall. And with like, especially in like schools and different work environments, people just kind of told to just, oh yeah, suck it up, deal with it. But sometimes it's impossible to do that. Like I've had friends who couldn't even come to school because they're just cramping so much and it just hurts so bad they can't leave their beds. And I would really feel bad for them because they're missing school. And you like, I don't know, like, I've grown up and I've never really missed that many days of school because I love coming to school. But and especially in third world countries, people miss a lot, like women, young girls too, miss a lot of school, and that truly affects their education. And I kind of think of it as a ripple effect. Like period poverty is a ripple effect because it not just affects women who don't have access to what they need, but also that affects their households, and like they can't work, they can't provide money for their family, and that just affects the economy as well. But I would say that would be more for like smaller countries and like those third world countries. But it just really, if you really look at it like that, it just causes a huge ripple effect in the long run. But yeah, that's really it.
Oh, well, that, and you know what? I think you are so correct in that aspect. It is a ripple effect because, you know, if you have, you know, young girls who can't go to school, then they're lacking their education, which is putting their whatever community you're in. And I think the biggest thing about community that people forget is that we are all one community at the end of the day. Like at some point we are all going to overlap. Because you're totally right with that. And I actually forgot that because I've heard that, you know, when I've done different workshops or read things about period poverty, that like the educational aspect of that is impacted. And like you said, even you going to your high school, having people miss days. Like when I was younger in middle school, and I didn't really know how to deal like with my menstrual cycle. And that's another thing sometimes people don't realize is it takes your body sometimes even a while to level it out. Like now in my 20s, I can look at, you know, my little calendar, or I can feel a certain way and be like, okay, this is starting in a few days. But when you're younger, sometimes your body is not fully acclimated to this process. So it'll come this day, 1 month, this day, another month, and it'll be like a surprise. And I think for a good year, every month or so, I had to go home on like the first or second day because my body would like, I would be pale and sweating. And they were like, oh my gosh, like, what is wrong with her? And it would be my cycle. Like that's exactly what would happen. It would, like you said, make me leave school. And I am someone who's privileged enough to have access to medicine and doctors and all these different things. And yet I still had to leave school because it was just like, they couldn't really do anything for me. And I actually love your answer, because I do think the lack of empathy is what hurts us in the long run. Because even like I said, as an adult, because when you get into period poverty, it also comes down to just, I personally feel like a lot of pain that we face as a whole. Like I had a cyst on one of my ovaries, went to the hospital. They were just kind of like, okay, take ibuprofen, have a blessed day. And I'm like, you know, exactly what you said. If this was, you know,
oh my God.
a quote unquote, you know, male issue, I think you would have more that you could offer me. Like you said, Viagra is just given out like it's Tic Tac, but yet, you know, we have homeless and incarcerated folks who don't have the products that they need. And so can you also speak a little bit more towards, you know, that specific population of people and why we should care and what we can do to help both incarcerated and homeless people? Because like you said, right now, within the pandemic, I think people are even seeing how empty these shelves look. And like you said, it's making us look more at maybe what we're buying because the financial impact that we're facing personally. But like you stated, even when this is over, this is still going to be an issue. So what should we look for? Why does this matter? And what can we do, you know, to raise this issue even in our own communities?
So what I would say on like the incarcerated women facing with this issue is that I've seen a lot of TV shows and documentaries on women in prisons and how incarceration happens with them. And overall, I would say funding would be a very critical issue because like with that, they don't get like, I would say like proper food or just like nutritional food. And then, oh, wait, can you hear me by any chance?
I can hear you. Oh, I think you just went away.
Sorry, is my Wi-Fi breaking up again?
I you know what's crazy? You just said like,
okay.
Can you hear me? And I can hear.
So
actually, I think just
that,
start
like,
from the beginning. Just start the question from the beginning. I think would be better.
Okay. I'm trying to like shift my computer. Okay. So with women facing incarceration, I feel like funding in those facilities is always been an issue. And with that, they definitely cut down on what the women need and what they receive. And with that, they would resort to cheaper products overall. And I would say, like, me personally, if I was in desperate need of like a pad or a tampon, I would use whatever I have. And like at my school, there would be the cheaper products that are kind of a bit uncomfortable. They have like the cardboard, you know, like inserting thing, and just the pads are just very like big and uncomfortable. But then like what I would buy would be like smaller things that are just, to me personally, like better. But I would still use them because I'm in desperate need of them. But like imagine getting that all the time and not giving the option to like choose what fits them better and what their comfort level is. That's kind of like, in a way, dehumanizing women, I would say, because that's what I'm doing with my project is I'm getting women access to higher quality products and giving them the option between tampons and pads, not just one specific item. But with women who don't have an option, like, I don't know, just to me, that's just so like dehumanizing. But with women facing incarceration, back to that, I would say maybe one day I could do a drive that just focus on those women because they should get an opportunity to receive proper products and just better quality products. But also homeless women, they definitely should deserve a chance to just receive something that isn't cheap or unfavorable to like how
Their
people,
bodies.
yeah. And um yeah.
It's
So
okay.
that's I never really talked about that issue before, um and definitely never really looked into that aspect of it, so I'm thankful that you definitely
I was gonna say, on as
reminded
I
me of
was
that.
saying, podcast, everything is up for grabs. But I wrote this point down, and I think it's very important to highlight for what you're doing, because it's not only about having access to just these products. Like, it's not just about saying like, okay, you have a pad or a tampon. It's about saying like, you have a product that is comfortable for your body, you have
Mhm.
access, and you can use it. Because you're absolutely right, for folks who might not, be folks who menstruate, or like you never, even notice, but there are different levels. Like, there are certain size pads, like they're
Exactly. Mhm.
overnight and regular day and a light day, and things that, they have wings, we don't have wings. And then you have tampons that are like multiple different sizing,
Mhm.
which, even companies have started to realize you can't just give like a million people one size tampon, because it's like everyone's bodies are different as far as their personal fit of a body, but also like the way that that cycle works. But I
Mhm.
do like that point in what you're trying to do, it because it's, humanizing these women. Like, it's dehumanizing, like you said, to just kind of throw you a cardboard product, something where, to be completely honest, you probably got another brand in your house. Like, you're
Mhm.
giving us this.
Exactly. Like what I'm giving people, that's what I buy. Like I
Yes.
buy like the Always brand, and I'm giving people the Always brand because for me, I think that one of the best brands, I'd say. That's just I've been using my whole life. So like I definitely want to give people the same comfort and feeling that I get in a way. Because like I would we'd buy like night pads, so the longer ones, and then the regular ones, and we do the super and regular tampons, and like we buy them at Costco in bulk. So we definitely get like a lot. Like there'd be almost 100 tampons in just one box. So
Yeah.
all the boxes we did get at our other drives, like we were able to make, I would say, around like close to 700 bags total that we were able to package, between the volleyball drive that we did and then the first drive that we did, and just giving people the option to choose what they want to use. And if they, I would say, I don't know, if they don't want to use it, they don't have to use it, they could just give it to, I don't know, like their friend or daughter, whatever. But it definitely just, I want to give people the option, because I would not, me personally, I would feel so horrible if I just have to be stuck with the same cheap products and just the inability to choose what I want to use.
Hmm. That you actually gave me a very, I really like that perspective, because, I've heard about period poverty for so long, and it's like, okay, like, let's get access to products. But you just took it to another level. Like, let's not only get access to products, but let's humanize with
Exactly.
these
Mhm.
products. Like, I just don't want to give you like this like dollar, dollar box of like 30 pads product. I want to give you, like you said, what I would use with my body. I
Mhm.
want to give you, a product where you can feel like they care about me. And I think that's, even going back to the beginning of this conversation, when you said, you want to package them yourself or with your community members, I
Mhm.
think that really shows, your community aspect of this, where it's like everything you're doing is like, I care. It's not just like, hey, like, this is a problem here, take this. And
Exactly. Mhm.
so everything you're doing is amazing. And I've genuinely enjoyed this conversation, because I think, even though like you said, like, some of these questions you might not have, thought a lot like in depth in, you're still out here doing the work at a young age. Like, you started doing this in high school, like, you
Yeah,
saw
thank
an
you.
issue and you went, into it. And I'm really honored to be speaking with someone who, is doing the work, even when you felt like, maybe, okay, I don't have all this information, but what I do know is this is a problem, and I can just get this products to them, and I can learn as I go.
Exactly. Yeah. And like I definitely feel like I did reach out to my state representative to like address this issue, but there was just a lack of communication between us in a way. Like I love her, but like there just wasn't enough momentum. So I was like, I'm just gonna do what I'm doing and just donate to my local community, because there are people in my community, and I live in Stanford, and there's definitely like two different ends of it, and um, especially people with like different economic statuses. So being able to help people in my own community made me realize that we're not all the same, we're all different, and like it's okay. And I just want to give back to those that I feel need. And also, there are like two girls in Greenwich who have petitioned and like trying to like get a bill passed. So I feel like they're doing what they need to do and I'm doing what I need to do. And we're definitely hitting two different areas of period poverty, which is great. And I was in contact with them too. And they, I believe, recently passed it. And then they got all the public schools in Connecticut to get free access to like tampons and pads for the schools. But for what my project kind of focuses on, just getting the products directly to all women, not just schools. So I feel like there's enough being done. And whenever I would go to donate, people would tell me, okay, feminine products are the most, there's not enough of them. And they're the first things to go. Whenever people come to like food pantries to get what they need, first things to go. And I'm like, wait, like I want to give them more. Cause like I went to volunteer at a food pantry at Person to Person in Darien, Connecticut. And I realized like, okay, there's food here and there's a section for toiletries, but there's no feminine products. And I was like, okay, interesting. So I spoke to someone about it and she's like, yeah, they're the first things to go and there's not enough of them to give out. So from that moment, I decided to focus on that organization. And then I would say we have the best relationship back and forth. And we definitely donate a lot to them because people from all over Fairfield County come to that organization to like get what they need. And kind of adding on to like how whenever people donate, I would say back then people just donate what they don't use or like whatever is kind of like crappy and all that.
Right.
But then at Person to Person, I volunteer in the clothing like closet where they do like have people come in, drop off their donations, and they would have the clients like come in and shop for the clothes they want. And same with the food. People would give in like their old clothes, but they're also nice. And I was like, oh, like this is yay, like go you.
Yes.
And like designer brands too that they'll be just be donating. And I'm like, more organizations should do that because people need to get jobs. They need to look nice to get jobs.
Exactly.
In a way. And getting scraps of people, that's not fair.
You're correct with that because that's actually one thing I learned from working with the homeless community even back when I was in New Jersey, and I'm starting to do it more now that I relocated to the Atlanta area. The fact that so many people don't actually even know, the products or what clothing the homeless community needs. And I think also what's important is what you just said. You went to your community. It's like, hey, like what are we missing, right? Because the same things that you might need in, Stamford, Connecticut might be different than someone in like Manhattan or someone in Atlanta or someone in LA. So I think that's also very important. Like you said, really zeroing in on your community and also zeroing in on, what they need. Because actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, socks are one of the biggest things that's not donated that people, the homeless community actually needed, that they're looking for, like a lot of these organizations. But like you said, they're not donating it because people are just giving their own stuff, their old stuff, so that's one thing I actually do. I will like go out and buy stuff and be like, okay, here's something new. And exactly like you said, even if my stuff is newer looking, like I'm like, okay, great, this is what you can do. Actually, I graduated from William Patterson University, and one of the things we would do would be an event with one of the women's shelters in the community, and it would be a resume writing, like haircuts, facials, because like you said, it's not just about having people have clothing. Like the goal of, working with the homeless population is number one, first and foremost, I think with any platform, is keeping people safe, because it's going to be a process, but we want to keep you safe through it. But like you said, the goal is for you not to be homeless. So it's like, if I'm giving
that cycle,
it's to end the cycle. So if I'm giving you clothing, if I'm giving you these things, like you said, you want it to be nice. Like we want you to get a job. We want you to be able to get housing. We want you to be able to do all these things. Mm-hmm. So why am I like limiting this by being like, oh, I'm just going to throw out some old clothes? And I definitely pinpointed that, in the notes. It really is about humanizing people. And that's what you're doing. Exactly, like you said, don't just give someone your old clothes. Like give them something nice. Give them something you would want to wear if you were in a situation where you felt like, I don't see maybe an opportunity for me to get up on my feet, or the opportunity for me to go into an interview because, like you said, I don't even have access to a suit or a dress or a resume and different things like that. So you are awesome. And so in closing, I think the only note to leave it on, because you are someone who just picked up this idea one day and said, I'm gonna make change. And like you said, you said you reached out to some of the people even in your community. Some people responded, some people didn't, but you still went forward with the information that you had. So, and this is like a two-part question. So number one, in closing, why does period poverty matter to everyone? Like you said before, I think we touched on it, whether it be education, whether it be pain, like why does it matter to everyone? And if we wanted to make change in our community in regards to period poverty, who do we speak to and how should that look?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so to answer the first question, shoot, I just forgot it. Okay. Sorry, can you repeat the first question again?
It's okay. So why does period poverty matter? Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it should matter to everyone because as I said before, like it's definitely a ripple effect, and it's just a form of like ending this issue and just getting people the access that they need and the products they need. It's just like a form of equality because it's not fair that we have to go through this in the first place, but hey, my kind of perspective is like, yes, we go through this extra step in our lives that men don't have to go through, but just kind of suck it up and deal with it. And I feel like women as a whole, we're kind of born to just fight through and persevere through any challenges any challenges that come to us. So props to everybody, all women going through that. But overall, I would say definitely tackling this issue is just a form of equality because, again, it's not fair having to spend extra money on something when we can buy other things, and men don't have to buy menstrual products. And overall, their products, I would say, are cheaper in a way and simpler. Like, why? Like, we just so complicated. But yeah, it should matter to everyone because it's not fair having one gender, I would say, to go through something extra and then getting dehumanized for it and getting embarrassed by it and again with the stigma, like we should be embarrassed of ourselves and ashamed of something that just happens naturally, and people do continue the stigma. And with what I'm doing, it's definitely trying to end it. And with my project, I definitely spoke to my whole upper school, and they're all girls, and there were like we have a few male teachers, but everyone was supportive of what we're doing, and I'm very like thankful to have that support group. And also my friends, like now they're openly talking about it, about their periods and all that, and I'm like, okay, this is great. And like I'm happy that we're able to comfortably confide in each other. When in middle school I wouldn't talk to anybody about like what I was going through, and I feel like everyone was just embarrassed and shy about it. So definitely, in conclusion, definitely ending the stigma would be to help eradicate period poverty, because without the stigma, more people would realize, okay, there's nothing gross about tampons or pads, so I'm just going to buy some and donate them and just kind of have this working community. Because I feel like people definitely would avoid purchasing those products just to donate them, because like who would be caught buying these products? Like to just have the stigma. And I know like back then people would be even embarrassed to put on the counter and just pay for what they need. But in 2020, I feel like we're getting better with that, and there are more women openly talking about it. And like my Instagram handle, just I follow different accounts that empower women to just not be afraid of this natural occurrence. And yeah. And the second question, I would say that like if you do see an issue in your community or about this, if you do see if you do see period poverty in your own communities, I would say definitely rethink how you're dealing with your menstrual cycle and how other people in your community would be dealing with it as well. And what you can do to help would be to just donate more products, I would say, to just get more people receiving products, because there definitely is a lack of them in like every like shelter or food pantry. There's definitely like a lack of that. But also to take it a step further would be to contact your state representative to just get someone in legislation to make a difference in that state or community. Even though it can be a little challenging, it does take time. We'll get there one day. Yeah.
I love that. It's laying the groundwork. So, Stephanie, where can we find Help End Period Poverty, where is your website? Any information that we can look for as far as even donating, whether that be people, maybe sending in your local community, or people, like I said, who might listen to this, who are in other neighboring areas, who might follow and be like, hey, like I'm in Atlanta, I'm in New Jersey, but I'd like to help. So where can we follow you? What's your website? And how can, folks help fund and donate to your mission?
Okay, so my website, our website is called helpendperiodpovertyproject.org, and on that website we do have like information and especially like a lot of pictures. I love to take pictures and just share what we're doing, because I feel like there's not enough evidence of like people doing this, so I definitely feel like getting it out there is just empowering as well. So we do have like a bunch of pictures that we're doing and where we donate to, and we did try to do a GoFundMe page, but we did have an issue with that a few months ago. So I think we're going to try that again. And that way, like people who aren't directly connected to me can like donate money to what we're doing. And all we do with the money is just buy more products and then bag them or just donate the boxes just to get more products out there into the hands of people who need it. And definitely, as I said before, giving them the option to choose on what they need and what they want. And then we also have an Instagram page. It's just called help.end.period.poverty. And on that, we also post updates on like when we donate and just like any news going on with like period poverty in general in the U.S. or even in Connecticut. And our website's also on that in the bio on the Instagram page. And at the moment, we have like 200 followers, and they're definitely like my friends, and also other organizations follow us. And it's very like empowering because I'm only 18 years old, and like I'm having other organizations like come talk to me and tell me that I'm doing a great job, and I'm like, okay, like, wow, this is just something different and new to me. And I definitely will take this further because next year I'm going to the University of Richmond, and I definitely want to like make a club. Thank you. So I want to like take it there and not just leaving Connecticut, take it to Richmond, because I know that there's going to be this issue there. And I've already talked to some of my friends who are going there, and they're interested in the same issue. So we already have this connection, networking, and groups, and like I'm just so excited to just continue this and take it a step further. And I'm definitely going to leave this project with my sister in Connecticut because she's a year younger than me, and I want to make it go like just bigger because why not? There's more people who need help, and I'm willing to just do everything that I can to help them. And it's just how say this, like our project is obviously like nonprofit, so like I'm not doing this for money or anything. It's just I'm doing it because I want to help women, and I feel like this is an issue that's not getting addressed all the time. And yeah, I would say like every little bit helps. Like my friends have been very generous, and even just coming to the packaging days to show their support and help us, then that's very like it means a lot to me. People are doing that.
Well, thank you so much for what you're doing, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
When it comes to university, and I'm very happy to be able to talk to someone, like I said, who took a step in high school, like you said, being 18 years old and doing all of this. And I wish you so much success within this. I know you're going to be changing a lot of lives, and I really do wish you, to stay encouraged throughout the process of, building this, because, and I know all the time when I talk to people I'd like to interview, I talked with you even before, like, when you do things like this, not everyone is like thumbs up. Not everyone is like, oh, this is needed. I've done a lot of stuff, and people sometimes are like, oh my God, like, why? But what you're doing is exactly what you stated. It's ending a stigma. And ending a stigma is ending a social narrative, which is really hard. It is really hard to be like, hey, we used to think this, but now we need to think this. And that is, I honestly tell people in a lot of movements, I think that's the biggest problem, is how do you shift people's mind to understand that this is why, like you said, you need to vote to end period poverty. This is why we need awareness. This is why we need everybody hands on deck. So with that being said, enjoy the rest of not only your time as far as being a leader and your time as being a change maker, but enjoy the process of seeing your platform grow, because you are young in that aspect of starting this, and it's only up when you start to now branch out and have these connections with organizations. And I'm sure I'm going to see you one day on the news, because you went from getting 500, items to now having like 5,000 items, and you're able to have like, I don't know, like pop-up teams in all these different states because people are in it. I think big. I don't know. I'm a visionary. That's just what happens.
Sure.
It's just a part of who I am. And I'm excited to be able to see you do that because you're going to be making change. So thank you so much for taking time to speak with us. And Stephanie, it has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And it's you too. Thank you.
And oh God, come on, record. Let's end this.